When the invitation to Oman came in a few weeks ago, Emma and I kept it really quiet because Dan, Si and James, they were busy at the time. And well, you can see why we kept it so quiet, because this place is stunning.
Yeah, it did not take much persuading to get us out here for some early winter sun, some great riding, but also local delicacies, historical sites, and hotel buffet. And I mean, don't forget the climbs.
How can you forget the climbs? Every single road in the Hajar Mountain region goes uphill.
No, Chris, I mean, sometimes they go downhill.
Yeah, but they never last as long, Emma.
Okay, that's true. But do you think maybe now that we're here, we should actually go for a ride?
Yeah, and I know a great place to start as well. There's this really stunning cafe in Misfat, but the ride ends with a 55k climb.
I can feel an epic ride coming on, Chris.
Yeah.
The Sultanate of Oman is a country of 4.5 million people located on the southeastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula. This epic ride took us through the Hajar Mountain Range, which translates as Rocky Mountains. We didn't get quite as far as the highest peak, which is Jebel Shams at 3,028 metres, but it is on our to-do list for the next ride in Oman. We started in the mountain village of Misfat, perched on a rocky outcrop at an altitude of 1,000 metres. Its traditional mud houses with palm frond roofs form a maze of narrow alleys and steps on the steep hillside. Of course, like all rides, we had to start with a coffee.
But even better, Emma, after the coffee, the ride starts with a descent.
Yep, that's right. We're starting from Misfat and then descending to Al Hamra, going through Tanuf, and then finishing with the famous Jebel Akhdar climb.
Yeah, that's the climb that they use in the Tour of Oman. But unlike the pros, we are going all the way to the top, which is an incredible 54 kilometres. I don't remember all these steps, Emma.
No, there were loads of steps, but I think we came that way.
I felt like we came from over there. Come on, we'll work it out.
We'll work it out. Okay, let's try this way. Exploring.
Let's go.
We're in Al Hamra, which is full of fruit and vegetable shops, it seems. I've been keen to stop for ages for more coffee and fruit and veg, but Chris says we've only done 5k, so we have to keep riding.
After the initial descent, as we passed through Al Hamra, our guide insisted we join his family for a quick coffee, and I'm never one to turn down a coffee. However, with traditional Omani hospitality, coffee turned out to be an extremely generous brunch.
We've been invited by our guide's uncle to have, I think this is just morning tea, Omani bread, honey, there's some coffee on the way.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing that's going to get us up the final climb.
When we finally got back on the road, feeling ever so full, it was already past midday and we realised we would have to step on the pedals to have any chance of making it up the climb to our hotel before dark. So Chris and I decided we'd be quicker riding as a two-up down the valley with its ancient beacon tower system. And I'm embarrassed to admit that Chris did most of the work into the brisk headwind.
So Emma and I have been talking and we both agree it's quite like the wild, wild west out here. And whilst there isn't a huge amount of variation in the scenery, it's beautiful in its own way.
Definitely, it's got this bleak openness and huge spaces. It's amazing.
And the roads are pretty perfect too. How about we stop and have a look at this? One of my favourite things about rides like this is that you see stuff that you just wouldn't otherwise see.
Yeah, and our guide actually told us about this. Apparently it was a village that was inhabited until the 50s, and then it's been ruined ever since the Civil War, and now it just stands empty, and it's magic. It's kind of ghostly on the hillside here.
Yeah, well worth stopping and having a quick picture though.
But I don't think we're going to find coffee here.
No, it's not.
No, let's push on.
I found my absolute favourite piece of road so far because the wind's coming from over there and I can squeeze Emma right up against the edge of the road as if it was a bike race and try and stop sheltering her because I know I'm going to need her tired on the final climb. So we've taken a bit of a detour off of our route. We've got around 25 k's to go to the big climb and we need some lunch, but also, well, tell us about Nizwa, Emma.
Well, Nizwa, I've been told, is the old capital of Oman from the 5th to the 12th century, so it's still actually the cultural capital. And Nizwa Fort, which is this, well, I think we've been past the wall, but there's amazing walls, and they're still the most visited cultural site in Oman, apparently, so we thought we'd better visit it. Wow, look at that. Palm trees inside the fort.
Shortly after Nizwa, we reached Birkat, where the famed and feared Jebel Akhdar climb starts. Its first ramp ascends an astonishing 1,400 metres over 13 kilometres. Jebel Akhdar literally means green mountain. This name at first confused us because despite the pomegranates and almonds and roses that grow in the region, the mountainside is predominantly rocky. But it was explained to us that the name refers to the copper ore that colours the rocks of the mountain a greenish hue.
Well, that's it. Inevitably, the flat roads have run out and we are now on the lowest slopes of the big climb of the day. So Emma, it's time for you to stop sitting on my wheel and pull your own weight.
Sorry, I've been having a bit of a rough day. It's 54k, almost all uphill. I actually feel another coffee stop coming on.
No. Enough coffee. Now it's time to properly ride. This is the lower slopes, but we're doing 12% uphill already. And there's no let up, it just gets worse.
$13, 14, 15, 14.9%, 14.8. I'm loving the Wahoo today. It's telling me big numbers.
I've got 19 here now. And I've also got a cadence of 45.
Well, I did tell you to think about your gears before we came out, but...
I'm thinking about them a lot now.
Well, we've managed just 1k of the climb and I wanted to stop for a little rest, sorry.
Yeah, your decision, not mine. I'd like it to be known on video. Well, we were thinking that if you do want to race up this brutal and epic climb, you actually only get one chance each year, don't you?
Yep, in March 2019, the Haute Route Oman is your one chance to race up it.
I don't know if I could do it.
Unless you're a pro. But then even they don't go to the top. So,
no, they take the soft option. They cut it 44 kilometres short.
We better get going because it will get dark before we get to the top of this rate.
I think it'll be dark before we get to the checkpoint.
Come on, I feel refreshed. my goodness, look at that climb. Well, we just rolled off the plateau and now the second half of this climb is starting, and this is apparently quite a steep bit that is known locally as...
It's locally known as the bitch, we're told.
Yeah, and the one after, which is apparently just as steep, is known as Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm kind of dreading it, to be honest.
Well, I think it would have been all right on its own, but the fact that we've already spent the last hour and a bit climbing, yeah, it's taken the edge off my legs, huh?
Yes, I think my legs have no edge left.
Some of the numbers I'm seeing are 23%, 22%, and it's been like that for the last minute.
Oh man, there's another steep bit coming. Oh, I thought it was going to be a bit of flat. Oh.
You okay, Anna?
Not having the best day.
You mean you weren't bluffing on the flat before?
No, I actually feel really knackered. Basically, this climb has defeated me.
No.
I think I'm barely going to make it. I don't know what's wrong. I just it's a beautiful climb. I love steep climbs. I just feel like crap, basically. Beautiful layers in that rock. I reckon it's all sedimentary. That's just me guessing.
MOU rock.
Any viewer who knows about the geology of the Hajar Mountains, please write in and tell me I'm wrong. Man, those descents are killing me. Like every time I feel like I'm getting into rhythm on the climb, it's another little descent and then another steep bit. Oh man.
No, I disagree. They're my saviour. Like, trying to nail it down those little descents and then make it as far out the other side without pedalling, it's become a challenge and it's getting me through the last tough bit.
And I can't believe it's like at least 18k still to go. This climb is brutal, but the views are amazing. It's just such a huge landscape. And the light, it's getting close to sunset to be fair, but the light is stunning.
Sorry about that, I was looking for my gilet.
You were smart packing the gilet and I was not. Have you seen, there's a football pitch at 2,000 metres. That is pretty cool.
I'm bad at football at the best of times, but let alone 2,000 metres.
Apparently the Amanis are crazy about football, so they play on the beach, up a mountain clearly.
As you do.
As you do. Found the only flat bit of land.
I would say we should have a game, but
no,
it's going to get dark.
Yeah, we need to push on, ready. Whew. It's going to be a nice sunset with the clouds.
I didn't really know what to expect before we came out to Oman, but on this ride we have been rewarded with epic hospitality, stunning views, and well, the roads have been pretty good too.
I feel like the stunning views are partly to blame for the fact that it's now sunset and still not quite back at the hotel, but it is just beautiful, and I have to say I've really enjoyed it, despite suffering.
Yeah.
I've really had quite a tough day, but
I think I enjoyed that the most.
Anyway, it's not far though, is it?
It's not. It's mostly downhill now, and I'm really happy about that because I can spin my legs out.
For once, I'm really happy to see a downhill, not an uphill. Oh man, am I happy to see the hotel again. That was an epic ride.
It was, and I'm epically knackered. That final climb that's just too much for me. If you enjoyed this ride, even a tenth as much as we enjoyed riding it, make sure you give us a big thumbs up.
Yep, and if you want to see that video on how to help your friends around a ride, just like Chris helped me today, thanks Chris, then click down here.
That's cold.